What's going on? What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Hey, tonight is Sunday, Next Play Sundays. We definitely finna get into some good information about the week, see how everybody did this week's, and everything else that goes along with it. This week has been a pretty interesting week, so a lot of great things that happened in my week. Working on the house, remodeling the house, getting some things done, making some investments into, my own property. So we're definitely gonna get into a couple of things, man. See who all coming in tonight and have a couple conversations about what's going on in the market, the money world, what everybody expecting for the summer, and what's the next couple of stocks, man. I'll be pretty much getting up in here. So grab your popcorn, get ready to chill and relax, and we're gonna get ready to take it easy and see what everybody else doing. So let's hop on over here and see what everybody else is doing, and we'll get it together. I hope everybody had a great week. Hope everything's been really good, really smooth. Everybody is like happy and shoot, we be good to go. So other than that, man, let's see what's going on over here, man, and see what everybody up to.
So I was out this weekend
We live,
and
man. How
I
y'all doing?
saw. Oh yeah, good, good. How you doing?
Uh huh.
I saw two properties this weekend
I'm sure you
that
did.
and these properties were vacant. They were just some vacant properties. I looked at one today. Matter of fact, in downtown Atlanta. And I mean it was a tear down, but you know definitely saw it.
Do you just purchase these things outright, or do you get loans, or do you do them through a business, or
I use lines of credit on other real estate property that I currently have.
so you leverage?
Yeah, I leverage.
hmm Like I
Yeah,
thought, that is, believe it or not, sir, that is a barrier to entry for most people.
yeah, it is. It is.
Okay? So I don't mean to. I'm not coming at you or anything like that, but not
Nah,
everybody.
but you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. So, but that being said, it's just a
Unless you
opportunity
want to,
to
unless you want to lend a brother a title, you know.
yeah,
I ain't gonna lie though,
yeah,
Reg. That's what I'm finna do with my house. I'm gonna use my house and just leverage it. I mean, and shoot, man, I don't care about staying here. I want my kids to have some money.
And nowadays, using your house to leverage is not a smart play,
Hey, man,
because 6 months from now, a year from now, your house may not be worth what you think.
we're buying another house. Both of them gonna make money.
Yeah, well, no, that's not the house. I think that's a real mindset that people got messed up, and I touched on this last week. Is that the home that you live in? I don't look at the home that you live in as much of an asset as it used to be. Back in the day, you bought a home for $8,000, and 20, 30 years later, it was worth $200,000. And then you die and you pass that down to your kids, and then they leverage that on a business. And, that's how generational wealth starts. I'm not sure if buying a personal home starts generational wealth the way that it used to a generation or two ago. I just don't see it happening that way.
Well, I'm gonna tell
Now,
you. I'm gonna
Now,
say.
buying investment property. Now, that's what I'm getting at. Investment property, which is a different set of rules, a different set of skills to be able to buy. That's why I just finished while you were out. I was asking Stacy how he's getting it. And he's getting it by leveraging other properties. So something happened in the past with Stacy that got him into the game. But the problem is there's a huge barrier right now for getting people into the game. And like I said, if it's one thing I am, man, it's consistent. And I've been preaching this, for the last 3-4 months, saying you guys are winning. Anybody with a home right now is winning. Anybody who hasn't is it's too late right now. It's practically a wrap. That's why I've been taking my quote unquote house money and throwing it into the market, hoping that I'm catching good deals instead of a falling knife, because I could just be trying to catch a falling knife.
Let me
Because I was just saying to Stacy, things ain't. We're not done. I think we got a couple more sessions of of bottoming out. We haven't hit the bottom on the stock market,
So,
but
mhm.
the barrier to entry is much lower for me on that than trying to jump into real estate because I don't have other real estate to leverage.
Let me ask you a question though. All right, say you own a house and you live in said house. Do you and you say it's probably not good to leverage your house to get another house or to buy more real estate. But let me ask you a question. What good is the house if you're not using it and you're only using it to live in?
Well, that's just it. I mean, honestly, your regular house does not carry the same value or carry the same leverage, especially if you ain't got any equity in it right now. And most people, if you were smart, the smart play over the last 2 years of the pandemic would have been to leverage your home by taking out low interest rate loans on it. So if you had any equity in your home, you should have took that equity out over the last 2 years. Is that not a correct statement?
Yeah, I think so.
So right now, you ain't got nothing. If you're leveraged out and you're paying a nice low interest rate, basically you're just paying them back because there are people that got away with 2% interest, 1.8% interest, okay? And that's cool. So they're winning, but they still got nothing to leverage.
But what I'm saying is this. So say you had a 6% mortgage rate on a house. And that's really high. All right.
Not anymore. Not
I'm
anymore.
I'm extravagant. Say you had say you had an 8% mortgage on a house. Then let's go crazy. You got an 8% mortgage on a house, and you got
In 4 months,
100 grand in it. And let's just say you got 60 grand in equity. You go pull that 60 grand out, and you use it to buy buy another property. Well, that property, now you got two properties. Even if one house goes down and you get income to pay, and you get income and you can buy another house and create another stream of income that may, because rent right now, see, this is the thing I want to ask you, Reggie. Rent right now is actually better for the person owning the house than it is for the person renting the house. So
that's correct.
Even with that high interest rate, you can charge double what the mortgage is.
That's if they're not upside down. Plus, you're betting on the economy to turn around. We still ain't hit the bottom.
No.
So what happens?
I'm saying this, Reggie. I'm saying this. So say you go buy a $300,000 house and the mortgage is $2,000. You can actually charge almost $4,000 a month now for rent.
You can right now, but like I said, man, in 6 months, you may not get that. Okay, right now rents are going through the roof, but I believe that if the economy keeps tanking the way it is, we're already starting to see layoffs in the tech community for the people that can support those $4,000 rents and things like that. You're already seeing Facebook just put a halt. What is it? Is Google's halted? What other company just said they're Carvana's laying off? All these companies are laying off, and this is just the beginning. So what happens when you charge these rents that are reflective of the times and of the housing crisis and this and that? And then all of a sudden these people belly up on it. So now you've got people that are stuck, that are sitting in the house, that are squatting, that aren't paying rent, and the government is not coming to your aid the way that they did 2 years ago. Then
That's
what?
true.
Stacey, talk to them.
They're not going. The government is not going to come to your aid because you got to understand the same money that they gave away. This is how they get it back.
Yep.
And so, first of all, the question about the jobs being people right now. Let's talk about the jobs right now, real quick. Right now, there's tons of jobs out there. Everybody's hiring. You got billboards, you got signs out there, you got diners that are shutting down the diners because they don't have anybody to come in and work. Why? Because people have tons of money and they're not coming back to work. How do you fix it? Supply and demand. So like Reggie just said, you got these companies, they're laying off now. So remember people saying, man, I can't find a good job, or, you know, you listen to songs, there's like, you know, no jobs for the poor, you know, no romance without finding all that stuff. It's going to happen again. So the economy, the government creates supply and demand. And before you know it, it's gonna turn, and like Reggie said, it's already started. Laying off people. Oh, we can't find a job. And then to answer your question, Reggie, is you be charging high rents right now, okay? And then what happens when the people don't have a job and they can't pay the rent? Well, another supply and demand comes. The government understands this, so then they will lower the interest rate. And the people with those high mortgages, they'll go back and they'll refinance and get their mortgage down. So it's just part of the economic cycle.
I understand that, Stacy, but you might be able to withstand that storm. But anybody running Franco's plan right now who's going to leverage the house that they live in, their one house, to take a bet on this economy, is going to lose before the government kicks in, because they're not going to be able to weather the storm. You might be able to weather the storm. And you might suffer a little bit, but the person that decides to leverage right now to make that happen, they will lose.
Only if they could lose. I agree.
I'm saying.
However, if the person who's leveraging their house creates a plan, a cash flow plan, say for instance, we do the refinance, okay, and we instead of having one tenant in there, we say we're going to rent the rooms out per room, $200 a week. So if you got, say, 4 rooms in there, that's $800 a week, right? So now you're making $3,600 a month on that one house, and you say, for instance, your mortgage is $200, you're making you're making $1,600 a month in passive cash flow. So I think it all depends on your plan. To the average person, if they don't do it right, yeah, their house is gonna be on the steps for foreclosure if they don't do it right. But if they do it right and invest for cash flow, I think they could survive. And there's different ways to weather the storm. But
those are great possibilities.
Yeah.
But I deal more in probabilities, and I just don't think I want to.
In the probability, that's a whole other ball game.
Yep.
But
probability.
So Reg, let me ask you this question. Do you think that they're gonna do you think that they're gonna take a chance and lower the rents just because people don't have money, or you think they're gonna go forward?
Nope. But what I'm getting at is that's just it. Is that thank goodness there's so many cars out here that can accommodate people staying overnight, and a couple little places that are helping out homeless, because I believe that that's what's going to happen. I truly do. I truly believe that.
You believe what?
That once all these people that took these market risks bottom out, there will be nothing left for them. I think that, matter of fact, I think there's already plenty of homeless people out there. And the reason that people are talking about, oh, there's so much employment here to be had. No, what I'm getting at is, this is where I think that a whole lot of people are missing stuff. Is if you remember at the beginning of this conversation, I said the big companies are laying off in the tech sector. And then Franco, you and Stacy both said, well, but they're hiring, and Stacy mentioned that they're hiring in these like diners and things like that. But here's the thing: no matter how many diner jobs you got, you're not paying off these $4,000 rents. So the good jobs are going to go first, because so all these IT people might, they might concede and work a couple jobs at a diner, a diner, and then maybe DoorDash or something like that. But the thing is, at the end of the day, this economy is going to whittle away at the middle and upper middle class, the people that can afford all these crazy rents and things like that. And then during that correction, the thing is, corrections like that don't happen overnight. They don't happen over week, over month. They happen year over year, because leases are usually 6 months to 12 months. So it's going to take a solid year for all these property management companies and landlords to understand, oh, a correction has happened, because they're not going to know it until they see 3 or 4 leases come due, and they're like, man, why are all these people upside down? So that's the correction. I'm sure that you know what I'm talking about, Stacy, if you've been managing property for more than 5 years, because I used to do it myself. And the thing is you don't notice those trends until they literally hit your pocketbook.
Yeah, well, you can see them coming too, though. You notice certain things, like right now. We knew that when the Fed started raising the interest rate, we knew things were going to slow down and correct, because people couldn't afford as much house as they could. So the information is there. It's just that I think a lot of people do not take note of what's really going on.
So the question is are you going to be wise to that, or are you going to get the money while you can?
Me personally,
8 times out of 10, somebody's going to get the money while they can.
Yeah. That's right. 9 times out of 10, they're going to go for the money versus being wise about the investment. But if you got a plan, before you got to have a plan before you even take the money. And not all the time that plan works out, but at least you got a plan on what you're going to do. Because, if you're out at sea, you don't have any navigation on where you're going to go. You're just going to drift, Yep. And, we all know what happens when we drift.
Mm-hmm.
We all.
Did I lose you, Stacy?
Hey, Nicole had a question too.
Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Nicole. I guess she gone.
I'm sorry. I was in the kitchen getting something to eat. I'm sorry.
Bring me a plate.
I was going back to Reggie's point a long time ago, earlier on in the conversation. He mentioned something about, I guess, homeowners who are winning. What I do want to say is people who purchase properties around the time I did, that 2008, 2009, 2010 little time, even 2011. And if you didn't do any type of refinancing or anything, to be honest, I'm winning. In equity, I have a lot of money, but I agree with what Stacy said. In order for me to pull, I've got to have a solid plan. I don't want to pull $50,000 or $60,000 and I don't have a plan, because then I'll drift with that money and I'll do stuff that I used to do years ago.
Because
and just spend up a whole bunch of money, because it's like I got this money. But I do agree with Stacy, and that's what's holding me back right now, is because I've got to have a solid plan. And also these interest rates keep going up.
That's the other thing is that listening to Stacy, if you were listening to Stacy and myself and put those two pieces of information together, you'd realize that you missed the boat on pulling out that equity.
Absolutely. That's why it's still there. because I missed it, and I know I did. So it wouldn't be smart for me to get an interest rate, and then it would be higher than what my current interest rate is. That doesn't make any sense. So when it was like 2%, 3%, absolutely, I did try to do it. So just to be honest and transparent, I did. At the time that I tried to do it last year, which I was trying to do it last year because I talked with the group. You wasn't in the group yet at the time, Reggie, so I did decide to do it last April. However, my debt to ratio was too high. And so one thing the lender wanted me to do was to take that BMW off and take it out of my name for a minute. The credit and everything was fine, but they're looking at my debt to ratio. And I remember talking to, I think, the group of the guys about it. So I had to, now I'm in a whole nother income bracket. And so now I probably could go through with it, but now the interest rate is high. So it's like not a win-win situation for me right now.
Yep. That's exactly where I'm sitting.
But let me ask y'all a question. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that other investors, other people in the market are going to stop trying to make money off the money because the interest rate is actually high?
Oh, absolutely not. Mm-mm.
So why are we saying that it's not worth it to do business on a high interest rate? Because
Risk assessment.
So
Well,
I hear you, Reggie, but Reggie, everybody else in the market for money is still going to figure out a way to take the high interest rate and use the same risk assessment and say, just like Stacy said, you got a plan, you don't got something thought out, you got something work. Everybody else is going to still continue, like the way the cycle is going. That's when the money is made, because everybody's still going to continue to try to make money, even when the interest rate isn't. The interest rate raising is not going. Only people it's going to stop is the people that are not capitalizing off the money. Everybody
well, you know
else.
what, Franco, I agree with you with that, because when we did the numbers with Navy Federal, I just did the numbers maybe a month ago. And what was crazy is, for me I think I had pulled out $50,000, and when they do it for, what I owe now or whatever on my house, it was crazy. It was a 15-year. I did a 15-year. And it's around the same amount of money that I currently pay now. And I can't remember. The interest rate may have been like 4.5, 4.8, something like that. But what was crazy was it is the same type of money that I'm paying on a 30-year. And I just, I wanted to think about it because, again, I need to have a plan before I execute this. So, I just don't want an interest rate like 7 or 8%. Like, that's like way too high for me.
So what does the high interest rate mean? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, I understand that the interest rate means that you're going to pay back more money, but we've established that they're going to continue to keep going. We've established that the world is going to continue to keep the money is going to still continue to be currency. So we know that that's going to happen with everybody else. Why are we complaining about the high payment when everybody else is going to adapt? Somebody told me the only way to beat inflation is to make more money.
You're absolutely right. You're right. That's the only way to do it. Yep. And I got to admit, he's speaking the truth. The world is not going to stop because it's interest rates going up. You just got to adapt.
I understand that completely, but I'm not going to try to make more money at the expense of what I got. That's literally the old wives' tale of leaving a bird in hand for two in the bush.
I mean, but those are the decisions that have to be made.
Would you advise your child to do that right now?
Shoot,
Franco?
I am. I am. Like that. I mean, because you got to realize, think about it in this way. If the prices get out of range and you say you get laid off from work, how you gonna be on the street and you gonna lose what you got anyway? So what? So you fighting two different evils. Am I gonna sit and hold and wait and hope it and ride it out, or am I gonna try to make something
No,
happen?
I never said I was sitting and holding. I was saying that this entire conversation started with the fact that the barrier to entry for real estate is too high. I've been going hard on the market. As a matter of fact, I just bought this week. I just bought was it last week? I bought Amazon. This week I bought Facebook and SoFi. So I'm going in on paper.
That's my point. So I mean, you're still going in, right? You're still
Yeah,
going
but
in
these
by.
are things. Yeah, but that's true. But these, I'm not leveraged on paper. I ain't put my house up to go in on SoFi and Facebook and Amazon. Okay, this is money that I could do without. If they all went to zero, I could still live. If you leverage your house on some mess, like these people that leverage their houses on Bitcoin, and now Bitcoin is literally worth 30% of what it was. Now you got problems. You see I'm getting at?
Yeah, you got problems. Yeah, you got problems. You got problems.
Between $5 and $7 a pop. That's sandwich money.
30% down. Yeah, you got some problems.
Yeah, you got some problems.
You heard me. You got problems. That ain't no doubt. You got some problems. But I think it's depending on what type of investor you are too, and what your pockets look like. You know, because there's some stock out there besides Bitcoin. Like, man, ARKKK with Cassie Woods is taking a beating right now.
Yep.
Their number one holdings is Tesla, Roku,
no longer. Tesla's
and
no
Zoom.
longer their number one holding.
Oh, really?
You know what it is now? What's that? Roku.
Yeah. That's some those two y'all actually talked about two things that I'm gonna talk about. I wanted to talk about tonight, so keep going.
But let's talk about Roku, because Roku ran up during the pandemic. A lot of these companies that were up, Zoom was up during the
All
pandemic.
these companies ran up during the pandemic.
Boy, that ARK looking ugly right now.
ARK ran the hell up during the pandemic.
Yep. I had an option on ARK,
Yeah.
and I actually was able to get out without taking the beat down about 8 or 9 months ago, but it was dropping. It was dropping so rapidly. I was like, man, make that shit exit. And there was a guy on YouTube that I was following heavy, and he was real bullish on ARKK. And I think he might have lost like $18 million behind that.
Yeah,
I'm actually relatively bullish on ARK, but the thing is that you once you jump in, you ain't lost nothing until you jump out, and that's the real issue. The thing is that a lot of people have jumped out on all these tech. As you can see, all my latest investments have been in tech. I'm just looking at them in that I think they're just on crazy sale right now. I think matter of fact, Elon's been using his mouth to bring to bring the that's crazy. I just said our like I literally own a huge slice of Tesla, but Tesla is still my largest holding. Matter of fact, I did buy more Tesla. Yeah, when it went into the sixes, I bought more Tesla. I did that last week. So yeah, add that. Like I said, man, I've been going hard on these stocks.
Yeah.
And the reason is because at the end of the day, with all the thousands that I've thrown in stocks over the last few weeks, it still doesn't come close to the type of money that I would need to go in on real estate.
Yeah, I think real estate is like 20% down.
That's what I mean. I'm just asking for understanding. You ain't got to agree with me, as long as you understand the logic.
Yeah. The logic is definitely different.
Because money sitting in the bank is losing. Money sitting in the bank right now is losing.
True.
Yeah, that's true. That's true all around the world. But we've been taught that's where we put our money at, no matter what, where it's safe and secure. And our culture, that's what's important: safety and security.
I'm all about safety and security. That's why I risk assess everything. I really do risk assess stuff. But like I said, if I could manage that barrier of entry, I just finished talking with my friend who's very heavy into real estate, much like yourself. Maybe I'll do an introduction, Stacy, because right now he's putting together a deal for 260 door property.
Man, that's huge right there.
These are, like I said, I grew up with this guy. I mean, we grew up back in the Midwest together, came down to Atlanta together. He's about his business, okay? He's owned a lot of stuff, everything from trailer parks to real estate. He's got condos in the city right now, and like I said, he's putting together some pretty big deals right now. And he's, matter of fact, he's looking for certified investors. I'm sure you know what that is, right?
Yeah. He's looking for some folks with 250 accredited.
I'm like, I ain't certified. I'm just happy. Hey, I got a celebration. I checked my credit. I just checked my credit the other day. My credit just crossed into excellent.
Good job, Reggie. Good job.
Well, that is amazing, Reggie. Congratulations.
767, something like that.
Congratulations, man. Hey, Reggie, it's time to blow it up now. It's time to blow it up, brother.
I'm saving it for a rainy day.
You better keep it letting it, because I'm telling you, when I had that 792, it was like, woo. But congratulations.
You just got to sit tight.
Now, y'all know the rule of thumb. Now, I jokingly say it's time to blow it up, but a lot of people hold that 760 and that 790 credit score and don't do nothing with it.
You're right about what Stacey. When I had that 792,
you got to make a plan. Just saving it for a rainy day, man.
I don't.
That's how you get it. If you use it, you don't get it. That's the credit paradox. People that need it don't get it. And if you don't need it, that's when they give it to you.
I was right at the BMW dealership with a 2% interest rate. I was right there. Give it to me. I earned this. So I agree with that, Stacy. When people do sit on it, and then sometimes you may look up and you had at 767 and 792, and then you have a 700. So, it just with credit, it just goes up and down.
My credit was messed up 2 years ago. I've taken 2 years. Right before the pandemic, I started out. My credit was like 460 something.
That's good, Reggie.
Really? Yeah. You did mention that. Do you mind explaining what
I told you?
Tactics you used?
It was all medical. Remember, I lost 200 pounds. I got off. Like I said, I've turned my life around completely, and I was on oxygen. I was in terrible shape. I was in a bad situation. And the medical bills and all that, everything was bad, dude. It was bad.
Well, I gotta say,
every day I'm winning.
I gotta say, I'm proud of you, Reggie, man. I'm proud of you. You know what I mean?
Just discipline and diligence. Everybody can do it.
Reggie, you said the magic word, discipline. It takes a lot of discipline, because I was there right with you probably back in 2017, probably 2017, 2016. I realized that it was 2016 to be exact. I had a 500 and I could not get nothing. And it took me having to get this loan that I couldn't get, and I had to have somebody to get the loan for me. I was like, some got to give. So, and it was discipline, and I did it. And I'm telling you, in 2018, the same type, same type of story, 500 and then 792. I just worked really, really hard to get it there.
Yeah.
So how did you repair your credit, Nicole?
Well, I took the easy. I'm glad you asked that question. I took the easy way out. I hired someone. But I'm glad that I did that. I hired a company and I referred her to a lot of people. So I hired this company. This young lady used to work for one of the major credit bureaus. So she knows what to do. She knows what they're looking for. The only thing that she can't touch is she can't touch student loans. But I mean, she can touch everything else. And so it was just a matter of, I mean, I had to pay. So it's not like, I paid some money to take care of it, but I think she's very, very helpful. So she helped me along the process. So when I learned what to do, then I didn't need her services. So I know how to go in and how to fix what I need to fix. So now I help people, and tell them what they need to go in there and do. And sometimes it's a matter of writing a letter. You write a letter to your creditors. And
that's cool. That's real cool.
So I got to the point in 2016, I was just like, you know what, I got a good career. I had my own house. I had been in my house at that time for 4 years. I was like, I'm not probably trying to buy a house for a long time. I had my BMW. So I kind of felt like I did everything I wanted to do. So I was just like, oh, I don't need this. But it took trying to get another degree, and I had to do something, and I really needed to do this, and I couldn't do it. And so that was a problem for me, not being able to do something. I'm grown and able-bodied to do it, but couldn't do it because I had jacked up my credit. And, I let it go to the wayside. But now I'm very, I don't play about my credit. Now I may, go, and you all know I'll go to Burlington. I went to Burlington. I told y'all last week I paid $262, but I turned around, that $262 is paid for. But I didn't have that type of discipline before. I would charge all this stuff and be like, well, I'll pay $20. I'll pay $30. No, I may charge it on Sunday, and I'll pay it the next time I get paid. So it's just
cool. That's pretty cool, because I didn't do it. I didn't really try to do it that way. I think that I kind of took an interesting route myself, in that I think what saved me was going back to school. When I went back to school, once I got that college student status, the first thing I did was I got one of those from Wells Fargo, those credit cards that were backed. You have to have money on.
Oh, the prepaid.
Prepaid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I started out with a prepaid, but as soon as I was done with that prepaid, I had enrolled. I went back to school, and then once I was designated as a full-time student, then Discover easily offered me credit. A couple other places easily offered me credit, and then I made the jump from there within the first year to Navy Federal, and then after that is cake. I do think that being a college student opened a lot of doors, because those student credit cards are a whole lot more, easier to get.
Oh yeah, they love to get you in debt. The college students. So Reggie, how did you mentioned you had the 4, I can't remember the exact number, or the 4 something credit score. So what approach, what did you do? Did you do this by yourself, or did you?
Yeah, I did it by myself.
So what did you do?
Like I said, I started with, the first credit card was with Wells Fargo, and I built up credit history for the first 6 months with Wells Fargo, with the back. So I had to put money down on it, and then I used it like a debit card instead of a credit card, basically.
Got you.
And it reported, and that was good. And then by the end of that 6 months, I was in school full time.
Got you.
And then I took advantage of being a full-time student, because this Discover will give a card to somebody with even the worst credit if you're a full-time student. And then I built on that, and then kept going from there. But no, I never used any credit tricks or credit fundamentals things or anything like that.
Okay. I mean, that's another smart way. That's kind of how I use my American Express. I use my American Express like a debit card. So, say if I spend $600, then when I get paid, I just go back. I just put $600 back on it.
Oh yeah, Nicole. The thing is, I truly believe that no matter what, no matter how much credit you got, you should still use it like a debit card.
Oh yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah. The credit card. What I was talking about, debit card, was that literally, like I said, I forget what they call that. Stacy, I think you had
The
term
secure
for it.
card?
Yeah, secured card.
Yes, it's
Where
secure.
it was backed by your own money.
Yeah, you have to back it. And
Yes, yeah,
who did
I
you
got
do
all
that
kinds
with?
of credit. I got all kinds of credit now, but the thing is I still treat it as if it's a debit card. I'm not going to
Gotcha.
charge anything on it that I can't take care of by the end of the
Hmm.
month.
That's smart. Yeah, Navy Federal is big with those. That's actually how I started too. I did the same thing, Reggie. I got a secured credit card from Navy Federal. And after I built my credit back up, Navy Federal then turned that to an unsecured card, and they increased the limit. So I
Yeah.
think that's a smart move.
Yeah, that's good. That's a proper way to do it. And honestly, like I said, if I wasn't a college student at the time, I would have gone your route and have sought assistance. And I know what you're talking about, being able to send letters and things like that to get certain things like overturned and things like. But that really wasn't my case. I didn't have those types of things. I just had, like I said, all these like past due medical expenses and things like that I just never gotten around to, because I was more worried about waking up the next day. Like I said, I was in bad shape. So like I said, I had to fix myself first. Then
Right.
once I fix myself, then everything else just starts falling into place.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I did the same thing probably maybe about 15 years ago. I was a victim of what do they call it? Identity theft.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And mine was a little different because I had to do affidavits to the credit card companies with police reports and all that stuff. But I had one company, Bank of America, that would not remove the information off my report. So how I got it off, back then they used to use something called a microfiche, where they kept all the signatures. And I would call the lady at Bank of America every week on Monday at a certain time. And at that time, you would deal with the same person. And so eventually she just got tired of me calling, because I was calling her, asking her to show me my signature where I signed for the credit card on the microfiche. And every week she would tell me, well, I'm looking it up. But I promised you I had a note on my desk to call her every week at the same time. And eventually, I guess she got tired of me calling her and sent it in. But I think mine got down to like a 500 or something. What happened, I went to the furniture store to go buy some furniture, and I couldn't buy it. And I didn't know why. And they said, your credit score is a 5. I was like, 5? What you mean? And it just spiraled from there. And eventually I figured out I was a victim of identity theft. And but eventually I did it all myself. I didn't hire a company, anything like that, just like Nicole and Reggie did. And to this day, you can do the same thing. Got information on it. You can go to cashflowstacy.com and get your do-it-yourself credit repair book.
Stacy, I have my sorority sister. My sorority sister, one of my teachers. She's actually over here helping me with a project for an event tomorrow. So she's listening in to the meeting. So I told her I'm gonna make her join next week. She's gonna join next week because she's trying to purchase a house. So she's getting some good information from the group while she working on something for me.
Oh yeah, welcome.
She said thank you. I'm gonna let her introduce herself. Come
Okay.
on here, Ms. Cook.
Hey, Stacy, while we're at it, maybe on the WhatsApp, send me some information, and I think I'll make that connect with you and my and this is not somebody I know. This is my best friend. Like I said, we grew up together.
Oh, good.
Back
good.
home. So yeah, he's I speak 100. I'm 100 on him. Okay.
Okay, yeah. I met an investor.
Hit me up via WhatsApp or something like that, and I'll get you two connected somehow here. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's all about networking. I met an investor today. I think he manages 69 properties in Atlanta.
Yep.
Tons of Airbnbs, single family rentals, and rooming houses. And he gave me some game just in Atlanta that's unbelievable when it comes to rooming houses. So yeah, it's always good to have a good network. And also, one of my tenants, he does repairs, house repairs and things like that.
Yep.
And he wants to partner on some deals. So if someone, in the group or someone out there on Facebook and YouTube looking to partner who has cash but don't know how to use it, and want to invest in real estate, definitely drop us a line, because we have a large network of investors who are looking for money to invest in deals, and you get a nice return on your money. So not only do we do stocks, we do real estate too. Next play.
That was a good
Hey,
one.
I'm always looking for a fool with some cash and don't know what to do with it.
Oh man.
You know what? I have this. She's sitting on the bench next to me. I said she can't see anybody's faces because like tonight everybody is off camera. But I'm gonna send her the link so she can join us. I know. Yeah. What's next? Well, next Sunday is Memorial Day weekend, but I'll get her on board.
Good to know.
She over here listening to the group. She getting some good nuggets.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Reach one, teach one.
That's what we do. That's what these educators do. That's what we do. Well, I gotta tell y'all something funny before we go to the next thing. This is kind of off topic, but it is dealing with money. So I did a thing today, you all. I've never done this ever in my life. I purchased my first pair of Jordans, and I thought I was going to lose it at the counter because I didn't look at the sticker price. And I was like, what am I doing? I did it.
What'd you pay?
How much was it?
For my Jordans?
Yeah.
Oh, 162.
Oh, them just some regular Jordans. That's
Nicole, I thought you dropped $300.
Yeah.
I already know. I can't even turn the camera on. I can't even turn the camera on because I'm taking my braids out. But I said if I could turn this camera on, y'all already know. I could have went to Burlington. You know how much stuff I could got for 162? A lot. But I did this for the children.
Yeah,
we have a football tomorrow.
You could have got 6 pairs of off-brand Nikes for that.
Well, I don't do off-brand.
I am staring at 2 special edition LeBrons right now that are in the 4 figures.
I don't do off-brand on any shoes, but I'm telling you, that was my first time.
No, I meant off-brand Nikes, as in like
okay.
They're Nikes, but they're just not J's.
Oh, I got some J's.
Well, I'm gonna actually tell you something, Nicole, that's funny.
Tell me.
The kids actually wear replicas now. Because
I heard. I'm gonna start doing it too.
The off-brand Jordans are actually a thing now. The kids are actually wearing the knockoffs because they look so much like them and they can't afford to get shoes anymore. So they're actually wearing the knockoffs. So even though it seems like, we should buy the real ones, the kids are actually being smart. And
that's true.
But I can't wear J's myself because number one, I'm too big. They're terribly uncomfortable if you're a big man. That's why I have quite the collection of LeBrons.
What are those? What type of shoes are
LeBron James. They're more than J's. They cost more than J's.
No. Because I'm not a sneaker person. Now you get me some.
No, LeBron James, the basketball. He's today's Michael Jordan, basically.
Yeah, I know who LeBron James is, Reggie.
Okay.
I'm asking what type of shoe. I know Michael Jordans. So I was like, what type of shoe does he make?
LeBron's are the right now they are they're Nike's flagships, and he's a huge guy. You know, LeBron is a big man.
Yeah.
And so that's where they showcase all of their, you know, latest technology. And, you know, they're ridiculously stiff. They're made for big guys. Little guys don't really like them. They're like, oh, these shoes are too stiff and stuff like that. But once you get over like 200 pounds, that's when they start to shine. So if you're like a young kid and you don't weigh that much, you're not a big man, the shoes are not really for you because they're made like tanks. You know, I've got LeBron's that I'm wearing from like 2015 right now. So, and they're still holding up.
Well, at least I can still shop in the kids section. So that's a plus. Because I just have never in my life paid that much money for some sneakers.
Yeah,
So you
LeBron's
hold on.
LeBron's start. I was just looking at some LeBron's the other. They start at about 205. That's where they start.
Wait a minute, Nicole.
Yes.
You complaining about interest rates?
I'm not complaining.
Hold on. You complaining about interest rates being too high to leverage with Reggie, and you just went in here and bought some Jordan for no reason, just to make the kids happy.
It wasn't to make
Well,
I did. Yes, absolutely. It's for the sneaker ball.
But you ain't gonna leverage. You know. I ain't saying y'all wrong.
I know.
I'm using you because you just went and bought some sneakers.
I
feel like I'm being judged on a Sunday.
No.
Y'all, I need to go talk to Jesus because.
But Nicole,
I feel like I'm being judged.
if you would stick with that excuse, Nicole, you might be able to write them off.
Right, what off? Them shoes?
Yeah, you might be able to write.
Yeah, I write them shoes off with all the other stuff I purchased. My time and talent.
All the other stuff you still being a consumer, but you trying to get with Reggie and say that the interest rate you ain't gonna put your house up.
No. I was with that.
Reggie got a legitimate excuse. He's investing. Now you got to give me an excuse on how these Jordans and this other stuff you purchased is undisclosed.
I'm investing into the lives of the children.
Them folk got books for that.
I'm investing in the lives of children.
They got books for that. I'd rather for you to write a book and sell it to the school with that same money.
That's a good idea. Thank you, Franco.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't invest in the children if you're gonna buy some Jordan. They're gonna look at you and say, "Ooh, them cool," but they might say, "What are those?"
All y'all on this call probably don't have Jordans at some point in y'all life. I'm a 42-year-old first-time Jordan buyer. Even when I was a child, my parents could afford it, but I wasn't into stuff like that. So starter jacket, stuff like that.
You were not into Jordan when you were young.
I was not.
So when did you get into fashion? Like,
I've been a fashionista since like kindergarten, but like
most women back in the day didn't care.
Yeah,
about
like I am very girly. Like I am super prissy. I'm very girly girl, and like wearing tennis shoes like that to me in my childhood was like, oh, that's kind of boyish, you know. Like I would wear Keds and Nikes, you know, stuff for like field day and, you know, we going camping with Girl Scouts, that type of stuff. But I wasn't one of the kids who was just like, hey, mom, hey, dad, you know, I got sneakers on my Christmas. No, I had, what was those, Tobago's?
If you weren't an athlete, those things really weren't on your...
Yeah, I was a dancer. So stuff like that, I wasn't into that.
Yeah, I went probably had them LA Gears.
I did have LA Gears. I did, Reggie. I did. And kids. Like that was the thing for me.
Those are dancer shoes. That's a dancer equivalent of
And my teachers laugh at me because I wear Skechers. And Skechers are the best thing since sliced bread. Them things are
cool. I'm with you. Now we can have a whole conversation about Skechers. Some people say Skechers are whack. Some people who wear Skechers love them.
Yes.
Most Skechers are whack. There are a handful of Skechers. There are a handful of Skechers. No, I'm just saying as far as build quality, things like that. No, they're most of them they're knockoffs, but they spend a lot of money on marketing. But they're just knockoffs of a lot of the big tech brands.
But Reggie, they're comfortable. They're comfortable.
They got a Skechers store in Lenox Mall. You know,
And they got a Skechers outlet.
Yeah,
I went there in Fort Myers.
I own a pair of Skechers. I got a pair of good Skechers. And as a matter of fact, I got a pair of loggers. That's one thing that they do well is Skechers makes loggers. Those are the ones with what's called a Goodyear welt. Okay, those are literally a Goodyear tire on the sole. You can swap them out with screws. The phone people use them up on phone poles, things like that. They're really industrial work boots. Okay, but they're fashionable because they're Skechers. So I keep those. I keep those around. And I've had those. Good Lord, for 15 years. I've had those since well before I got sick, and they still hold up. So yeah, there are some Skechers out there that are the bee's knees, but most of them are just knockoffs. Honestly, LA Gear was a knockoff of Reebok, and back in the day. But if you spend enough money on marketing, you can make people believe.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're just like Champion to me back in the day. Like we talked about the people at our school who were
Champions were a joke back in the day.
Yeah. So, Champion is the bomb.com now, but it's so funny because people who were Champion, I graduated in 98. We was like, wait a minute, like you got on the Champion sweatshirt. Like we didn't do Champion. We was doing Polo. Not you what is it, United States Associated Polo, not that one, but Polo, Ralph Lauren. So it's just so funny how some of these brands are really like coming up. Like my little nephew is 8
reinventing themselves through marketing and social media.
That's right.
That's right. What if none of the brands reinvented themselves? And what if the people that are controlling the cycle of things are just like, okay, we're gonna take this one out for a minute and bring this back later on? Because
that's true.
All these
that's
brands,
exactly it, Franco. But that don't mean that it's the best. I mean, there's still only a couple brands out there that are consistently putting out the best. Honestly, the best of anything. Because if you leave America, like if you hop on Amazon, like say in Europe, if you have a VPN and you can hop on Amazon in Europe, you would see the plethora of imitation iPhones. There are so many of them, and most people have imitations. It's just in the U.S. where they don't. Okay, and that's because marketing, and they spend money on regulations and things like that, lobbyists, all that kind of stuff. But the thing is most people. And that's the reason that we're in this group is because we have a minority mindset, is that we're not sheep, but most everybody else are sheep. They just go with whatever,
Right.
At the time.
I believe you.
I pride myself on not being a sheep.
Yeah, I believe you. But the crazy part is, none of these, when these brands come back out, like Champion came back out because of flip-flops and t-shirts.
Right.
They wasn't making anything that was spectacular. It just became, when they started marketing this company again, it just, everybody, oh, this is new, I want it. So it goes to play and to say, like, even when you look at Jordans is just a brand that's been there forever.
No, that's not true. Jordans used to be Nike's flagship. They used to be the technologically superior shoe for the vast part of the 80s and the first part of the 90s. When Michael was wearing them, they were the best shoe that Nike could come out with. They put tons of research and development in it, and that's what justified the price. Now they are a fashion statement. LeBron is the new Jordan.
But what I was thinking too, even going back to Franco's point about how they're bringing because I agree with that. They are bringing these different brands back. And I was even telling some of my coaches, I was like, what if we was talking about this on the car lane last week. We was like, what if they bought them starter jackets back? Because, our kids, they don't know anything about that. Nothing.
I hope not.
No,
starter jackets are about to come back down.
I hope not.
Starter jackets are coming back this winter.
Mugs were shooting people over starter jackets when I was.
And that's what Miss Cook just said, that when she was growing up, she was saying that her mom, we're all from Atlanta, and she was saying that her mom would not let them get it.
Yeah.
Well, she said because they were killing people over downtown at Little 5 Points over starter jackets. I remember that.
But you got to understand, like, the name Starter is still around. It's available in Walmart.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
really?
jackets are
Yeah.
the jackets,
You can get
jackets are
started
still,
here.
yeah, you can still get the jackets. It's just not like, because the
They're
new
not hot
jackets,
anymore.
yeah, well,
They're not hot.
the NFL kind of took over and gave it to another company. Starter just hasn't had the rights to produce jackets for the NFL, but they still make starter jackets. But also those rights are changing this year because Reebok. You got to realize when you see the actual uniforms every year, another company gets the contract. Like it's not every couple of years another company gets the contract to market the NFL. So it's just got to rotate again. But starter jackets are actually you starting to see people even talk about that stuff now, like where because the trends are already people are like kids wear sweaters in the summertime. So
They are wearing the stuff now. These sweatshirts. I don't understand this generation. It is 91 degrees outside, and you got a whole entire. I was getting on my little cousins yesterday at the barbecue. It is 91 degrees out here. Y'all got a whole sweatsuit on. I got on a sundress, and I'm hot. I don't get it.
But it's not that important. It's not that important to you.
You know, you got about a 20-year gap on them probably. You know,
Thank you,
That's
Franco.
to them
I'm
kids.
just saying, you know, they 19, 20. You out there with them. You got about 20-year gap on them. They body don't even know what hot it is. They just out there.
Well, listen, we was once their age, and let me tell you, when it was 91 degrees, and it's Sunday. It's the non-judgment zone. That's what Jesus told me to tell y'all, non-judgment. When I was them little girls' age, I had Daisy Dukes on and stuff, and a tank top. It's a sandals. You know what I'm saying? I was wearing little shorts. These girls, I was where y'all going is hot. Look, I'm looking at y'all. I'm hot. I'm already hot.
Here's the thing. Back in the day, in the wintertime, it could be 30 degrees out and you still running around in them Daisy Dukes. Ain't no difference.
No, my grandmama would say you're gonna get pneumonia if you around there doing stuff like that.
My mama would have hit you with a shoe and be like, nah, we ain't gonna have them fast ass women running around here.
Well, excuse me, Reggie.
I'm not saying me. I'm just saying what my mama would have done.
I still wear short shorts at 42 now. I ain't got no shame.
Now, how you be flip-flopping? Hey, let's change the subject. Time to go to the next point. All right, so, so, you know, a little while ago, y'all talked about how ARK been taking a beating for the last almost 2 years. ARK announced that they're officially not messing with Tesla because of the fact that Elon is messing with Twitter and they don't see Tesla is going to move. So my question is, do anybody think that Tesla is about to split? Because Tesla has been losing money for a long time as far as the market goes. The price is down.
The price has dropped.
Yes.
But they ain't lost nothing. They've been making money hand over fist.
Well,
the fundamentals don't lie.
Well, and then I guess you can say the fundamentals don't lie, but now they're down. They're off 10% of the market cap, and hedge funds are starting to drop them.
That's correct.
From their portfolios, and we all know that hedge funds are what keep these companies actually afloat. So if hedge funds start dropping Tesla, and it's been publicized that hedge funds are they're dropping their shares, what do you think the move is? Because in order for Tesla to be able to stay the number one in the EV space, or do y'all think that somebody else is going to eventually come back and take over the EV space?
I'm sorry, Franco, but none of what you're saying is making common sense.
Okay,
that's just, it's no different than our discussion about starter and LA Gear. Tesla is still technologically superior product by far than anything out there in the space, and you can't deny it. So even though Elon Musk is raising up a stink, this is not the first time his mouth has written a nasty check that we've all had to been forced to cast. Okay, but that still don't change the fundamentals. So at the end of the day, I dare anybody, please step up. This is the time. That's why I'm still buying Tesla, because I'm seeing it. Oh, it's on sale. But something's going to happen to him. I mean, either he's going to, but he can't, no matter, I don't want to compare him to Trump, but honestly, no matter what he says and does, it's not going to change that company. It's not like the company is going to stop producing cars and stop making profit because of what he does. You still got to stick with the fundamentals. So yeah, socially, he's bringing down the stock. He's bringing down the stock in so many ways. But the way I look at it is like, let that fool keep talking. Because
but I don't think it's just him. I mean, the entire market is down.
Yep.
You know, so I don't think it's. I think maybe they're focusing on Eli, but I can't just see it's just him. The entire tide of the market is down.
That's true.
You know, you got Apple all the way down.
But Elon Musk and Tesla, though, they were the company that was defying the odds. So no matter how far down the market was, Tesla was still good. But now that Elon done opened his mouth and is acting so stupid, now he's among everybody else and falling with the market. But all you got to do is take a look at his last 3 quarters. You take a look at the last 3 quarters, those numbers don't tell a tale. And at the end of the day, pretty soon people are going to put aside their, when the economy gets bad enough, people are going to put aside their frustrations about his cult of personality and decide to go with what is technologically superior and what's the best for business at the end of the day. So there might be a handful of people that will not go with Elon, that will not invest on principle. You know, it's like, he's swinging a little too far right. I'm not going to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. But hey, that's great. That's just more Tesla for me. That's the way I look at it.
So, Reg, let me ask you this question, and Stacey too. If neither one, y'all, I mean, Stacey, you say that the market is just is the whole market down. Reggie just made the point that I was finna bring up. If the whole market down and Tesla's so good, why are hedge funds announcing that they getting rid of it? And it used to be one of their biggest holdings, like Reggie just said. Did I lose everybody?
Nope. I thought you were to Nicole, right?
I mean, no, I'm just saying you both of y'all. Like, if the whole market's down, and this was the number one stock in all these top hedge fund portfolios, and that all these same hedge funds are kind of saying now they getting rid of Tesla.
Who's saying that though?
My 2 cents.
Well, they gotta. I'm gonna have to pull the article up. Give me a second, because I actually had it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but if you want my 2 cents, it's because, like I said, majority of people are sheep. Sometimes, you know, what Chris Rock say, you know, all these kids have all these labels and things like that. Sometimes people just crazy. He said all the time, like sometimes people just crazy.
Yes.
I want to tell you this. Guess who it is, brother?
Come on, Buffett. I saw that.
Nope.
No? Who is it?
Bridgewater and Associates.
Oh, yeah, Buffett don't own Tesla. That's right. I'm thinking about Apple.
Bridgewater. That's why I wanted to bring it up tonight, because Ray Dalio's company is it's exiting Tesla too, along with ARK.
Biggest of the big dogs.
Blackwater, not BlackRock. Blackwater.
Oh, okay.
Blackwater. They announced that they was exiting some of theirs. And it doesn't give a couple of more names.
They could be hedging. They may see a better investment. You know, where, say for instance, if they're still in profit and they may want to hedge out of Tesla and do something different. They may want to go into fuel or something like that. You know, take those funds, put it into a market that's running right now, to recoup some of the losses that they've taken.
And guess
Because
what?
you got to understand, these guys are hedge funds. So the only thing that matters is their balance sheet at the end of the year.
Yep.
How much money they made their investors. So if it means I got to sell some of my Tesla and invest it over here just so I can make my 10% for my investors, then they do that. You know?
Well, you know, Stacy, both of us know about the whole Ray Dalio, but guess what? And so I can kind of talk directly to you on this one. Guess what Dalio put it at?
Where
In the Chinese companies Ling and Xpeng.
I never heard of it.
I know. That's my point.
I've heard of X.
And me and you both know that the whole thing when he came up with the economic cycle of how he invest and trade and move money, and you know, a lot of people don't know, man, this man single-handedly figured out how to get the chicken nugget out here. You know, you wouldn't have chicken nuggets if it weren't for Bridgewater. But yeah, they putting it into the Chinese markets and they EV versus Tesla now. So that I think that's big because a company like this investing in the Chinese market early have not been known to win.
Interesting.
They've been known to win because, like I said, I mean, I think it's real interesting that they go from Tesla to the Chinese market. And also, I guess so. Let me let
The reason
everybody
I
else
can't
know.
speak on it is that they must obviously know something that I don't.
All right, so let me give you a little backstory about Ray Dalio, like that's in his book that you can go read. So, like when McDonald's was figuring out how to create the chicken McNugget, Ray Dalio is the one that actually came up with the trading strategy for them to be able to securely lock in the price so they can always charge the price for chicken McNuggets. Because the hardest thing for McDonald's was to keep away from inflation so the chicken wouldn't go up and they would still make a profit. So Ray Dalio created a scheme of trading to be able to predict the market and control the price. And that's really what he's known for. So that's why I say it's interesting for me when I first read it. This is the thing that I thought that if they're going from this same company is going from Tesla when they was really bullish on Tesla to the Chinese market, that's not something I don't think they would do if it wasn't something there.
Yeah, but you know what? If they're reporting that information, you know, that had to be at least about 47 days ago.
It was quarter one.
Okay.
So that's quarter one. So we going into the third quarter. Well, we in the second quarter. We going into the
Right.
third quarter. So they already in this position back in the beginning of the year. And they exited Tesla in the first quarter, and already.
So they probably was in profit, really.
That's my point, Stace. That's my point. So they got off Tesla way before it really started dropping, and moved their money to the Chinese market.
Interesting. How do they know?
That's why I'm bringing up the chicken nugget story.
That's just it, though, is that I don't know. If I don't know why, I'm not following just for the sake of following. We've already talked about, that, at least I'm not a sheep. I'm not just following somebody for the sake of following. Now, if they post something that shows, because I know Xpeng. I know some people that are all up in Xpeng. But
Reggie, they're not going you have to go really read Ray Dalio's story to understand why, and read it and go read it, because this guy is he's nowhere near a sheep. That's why he's so high.
I understand that, but neither is Elon Musk. But I don't invest in Tesla just because I love Elon Musk as a person. See, I'm getting at? So I'm not going to invest in Xpeng just because I read a book on Ray Dalio.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't tell you
fundamentals are still fundamentals. Last I checked,
I wouldn't tell you to do that either, Reggie. I'm just saying that when a company, because Ray Dalio is not there, allows this to be publicly put, and then you see Tesla going down after they decide to do this. When you look at, like you said, the actual factors, and you look at all the parameters and everything that you really can connect, and you see a company like this exit right before it starts to crash and go to the Chinese side. That is fundamentals.
But you know what? They also may be buying Tesla now too.
Please
You know,
send me information on Ray Dalio. I'd love to review it.
So here's the thing. Maybe they sold out the first quarter, right, to invest in this Chinese company, but now Tesla may be at a price that looks good to Bridgewater. You know, so they could be buying back in because the public doesn't get this information until 45 to 47 days later.
I know.
After they've made their play. So we're looking at Tesla being down, but we're also looking at he sold it 47 days prior, so he was in profit, so he made money there.
Yep.
Now, and then you got to think about this.
He could be back in it now. We don't even know it yet.
He could be, because if you think about the way these billionaires work, they don't just buy stock just to be, you know what I'm saying? They're not like the retailers. They don't just say, oh yeah, I just want to buy me 1 million shares real quick. They're going to get paid to buy the shares.
And that's so. Let me tell you how much they bought. In Lee Audio, they bought 1.79 million shares.
That's auto. That's auto. Lee is an automaker in China, not audio.
They bought, and now their exposure in this company is 115.6%. They own the crazy, and then in XPeng, they bought 2.25 million shares. And now they're actually 100, like their stake rose 102% in that as well. They lost money when these companies went down. Well, technically they probably didn't. But they've been buying up everything. They bought NIO, they bought General Motors. They're buying all these car companies stocks. This is what the report was about.
I mentioned NIO to you guys a few weeks back. Because I still feel NIO is at a great price point, but the only reason I haven't pulled the trigger on it is because I'm concerned about the Chinese stock market. Matter of fact, I'm concerned about Chinese currency, period. But yeah, that's the only reason I haven't pulled the trigger on NIO. NIO has solid fundamentals. They've been around longer than Tesla, and they actually make product and sell it. Unlike most of the companies that the automakers here in the U.S. that we talked about last week. But I just don't want to throw a bunch of money in NIO and then some scare come up and then all your money's gone, poof, because some dictator decide to make a ruling in China.
That's true. So the crazy part is, that's kind of what's going on. They don't lost a lot of percentage on the shares, but the thing is, gas is really finna go up a lot more. And so this EV thing, I think that's why Bridgewater got into it. I think that these few companies are probably gonna be closer to one of these companies are gonna blow off and blow up EV some kind of way. Because of the simple fact that's a whole lot of money in Chinese companies. Even if the price is going down in the market, somebody's investing now to make a whole lot of money later.
Yeah, EV is definitely gonna be strong with these fuel prices, man. $4.19 for fuel, bro, is a lot.
All the more reason for. Well, I'm done. If I say Tesla one more time, people are gonna have to take a shot. So I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, I just think that there's gonna be a point, Reggie, that somebody has to come out to challenge Tesla to make a free good market.
In 6 to 8 years, maybe. but I think I'm good. I'll put money on. I put money.
I mean,
Put
you
money
got to
on it.
realize the car companies announced
I'm
last year that
nowhere
by
close.
2025 they was gonna have EVs as most of their fleets.
Dude. I don't even.
I saw the Ford Mustang today, EV.
I'm standing on it, man. I'll
You saw
stand
a
on it.
Ford Mustang EV. I ain't
Yeah.
seen one of them.
It's like
Yeah.
it looks like an
It's
SUV.
not a Mustang. It looks like an SUV.
Oh,
Yeah. Yep. I saw it today.
I know them all, man. I know that's my end. I know cars. Okay, that's one thing I know. Nobody's anywhere close to Tesla. It's like Iron Man. You know, the government keeps trying to make stuff to get close to Iron Man's arm. Iron Man's 2-3 generations ahead, and is still innovating on the regular. There's nobody coming anywhere close.
So what makes Tesla the elite? Say, for instance, if I have the Ford Mustang EV and then I have the Tesla S, why is Tesla? We're both using batteries,
Yep.
right?
You want to know why?
What-
I can give
Yeah.
you right off the bat. First, you're still going to have range anxiety because the majority of chargers out there are Tesla, and your Ford ain't compatible.
but
You
Reggie,
still got range anxiety.
but the charging stations are compatible with everything that's coming out now.
You got to pay out the butt for it.
No, I'm
You
talking
gotta
about the
pay
ones
for
the ones that are out like the gas stations now. Anybody can charge it though, because you see all kinds of like different models of EVs, even the little Volts and Chevy Volts and stuff out there.
The other thing is Tesla's product is not the cars. Tesla's product is the factories. And Tesla makes almost every single component of their cars in-house. They now have that big metal stamp that they've been working years and years on that cuts the number of parts. Tesla is doing to cars what IBM did to the microchip by making fewer and fewer parts each time. Every iteration of a Tesla has fewer and fewer parts, and now they can stamp a whole half a body out of one sheet of aluminum. Just stamp the whole thing. And any other car company, that's like 300 parts, 2,000 bolts and nuts, and all that labor. They just stamp it, boom, and it's out. There's no place out there coming close. All this technology is patented too. And the real reason why Tesla's trying to buy Twitter is not because he's leaning right or left. He wants to use Twitter as a way to serve the AI.
Well, that's
It's all
interesting.
tech. It's all tech.
I can
Nobody's
believe it.
coming anywhere close.
I'm gonna say this though, and Stacy, you can understand this. They sold all they Tesla. So if you know that site, the Edgar database, if it goes back and they bought in the Tesla in this quarter, I'm inclined to believe you, Stacy. And I'm inclined to believe you too, Reggie. If I go back and see that they actually started buying back into the stock market and bought it again, because they made 27 billion off. Not 27 million. I'm sorry, 27 million off selling all their shares, and then spent the whole 27 million back into the Chinese market. So somebody knows something. And that ain't really a lot of money, but when they do it hundreds and hundreds, but that's a lot of money to go back and respend into the Chinese market. And Tesla is strong. Tesla is a technology company, but somebody got to come out and make it. Everything comes from China. Everything says made in China now. So people are already accustomed to made in China products. People will buy a Chinese car. They buy.
The Tesla parts are made in China?
No, the Chinese, the companies that they invested in, like the auto parts maker, like Reggie said, they're investing in the auto parts maker, and then they're investing in a bunch of Chinese EV companies. So the auto part maker I can see, because somebody out of China is finna come in and sell parts to something. So
That's I see what you're getting at, Franco, but that's not the situation with Tesla. It's the exact opposite.
We're not talking about Tesla, Reggie. We talking about the fact what the play is. This is, and I hate to say it, this is next play investors, and these people are setting up the next play. They're setting because you got to understand, like you said, it's an auto parts maker, and then they invested in all the other EV companies, even GM, NIO, Zhang, and they invest in an auto parts distributor or sales, whatever you want to call it, that's coming out of China. That's not a coincidence. They sell all their shares of Tesla. They didn't sell partial. They sold all of its shares of Tesla.
They sold all their shares of Tesla, and
I'm finna pull it up so everybody can see it. Yes, they sold all.
And then they went and invested in a supply chain, basically.
Basically, yes, they sold all their shares. There you go. They sold all their shares.
Basically, they left the retail and went and became the plug.
Yeah, they sold all their shares.
You know, that's what happened.
So they setting up the next play because that's why I say it's so important to understand who Bridgewater Associates is, because that's and nobody really probably ain't really paying attention but the people that know. And the play is right there. They bought a auto parts manufacturer, distributor, whichever one you want to call it. They bought three auto parts cars. They bought the auto parts. They bought the car makers, as you can see here. They bought they're spending money on everybody else.
Yeah, that just gives them a market share.
And that's what
in the EV market.
And that's what Ray Dalio them always tried to do with trying to be in the market, because they knew basically this is where the money gonna be made somewhere. One of these is gonna be a big play.
I think that's maybe one to follow. You know, it's worth following. You know, EV, the fuel price is extremely high, and you just being a part of the supply chain, not a bad investment. I don't know the companies. I've never seen them, but the idea sounds good. Put it like that. I can't vouch for them, but the idea sounds good.
And so that's why I say it's really interesting, man, because everybody down in you know, it's a situation where somebody got to come out and at least try to challenge them to make the create the flow of money again somewhere. To make it affordable.
You mean challenge who? Challenge who? What do you mean by that?
Challenge Tesla, because Tesla is the de facto standard of EVs in America.
Right. They're the de facto standard of automotives in the world, let alone EV.
Yeah.
That's major.
Yeah.
That's major. Major.
So, you know, that's why I say, it's a real interesting thing to know that that play is going down. When I read it, I was like, ooh, this is a good one.
So before we shut down, what's the stocks that Ray invested in again? So I can write them down.
All right, so he bought NIO.
But NIO's not a supply chain. That's a car company, right?
I know he bought. That's what I'm saying. He bought car companies and he bought.
Xpeng is too.
Yeah, but
Hey,
Lee Audio, they actually deal with manufacturing of the parts.
Lee Audio. What's the ticker for Lee Audio?
Hold
Yeah,
on,
I've never heard anything about Lee Audio.
The ticker, they don't have a ticker for Lee,
Okay.
but it's LI Audio, and you'll go
Okay.
see the. Well, no, they do. They got it. They on the Nasdaq. It's LI. They're $24 a share. I'm sorry, I was speaking too fast.
Okay.
They
Okay.
$24 a share. They've been around since 2015, and it basically is known as it's a Chinese electric vehicle manufacturer headquartered in Beijing with manufacture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that basically
That's Lee Auto. That's not Lee Audio.
I said Lee. That's what I said. Lee Audio. I'm sorry you heard that, sir. But yeah, that's what they do. They just make parts and manufacture all the stuff for the vehicles. But
Okay.
he also invested in, like I said, Neo Zhang XPEX is Zhang Peng or whatever. I can't say that. That's the other three, and then he got Ford and GM, but Ford and GM buy parts from China. So I'm wondering if all of them link together. And like I said, I put it out there to everybody else because I thought it was interesting, and if everybody kind of hears some stuff, I appreciate any information. If y'all keep up with it. But that's why I thought it was interesting, because somebody has to challenge Tesla at some point in time. It's a real good play, I think.
That's interesting. Definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's a real good play. Because somebody's gonna win out. Somebody's gonna make some money somewhere. And like I say, everybody's already doing business with China. Everything comes from China, so
Mhm.
it's everybody's already kind of already there, in my belief.
Well, good deal. Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. Well, that's sounds like it's a wrap. We're at the 9 o'clock hour. Top of the hour.
Oh yeah.
If anybody got anything else? If not,
when we gonna? Where'd you go? Oh, there you are, Nicole. When we gonna roll out?
oh, hey,
Look at all these cameras coming on.
weather done got nice.
All right. All right. Having a little bit of technical, having a little bit of technical difficulties right now, and definitely want to be able to get a chance to say hello to everybody and get everything together. We want to make sure everybody had a great time tonight talking about it. Some great conversations. As you can see, we have a lot of great things to say. Camera's not working really well right now for some reason, but we're gonna get the technical difficulties taken care of. We want to thank y'all for joining Next Play Investors. Everybody have a great and productive week. Other than that, see y'all next week, man. Thank you for joining. Y'all have a wonderful night.